In Pecos, Texas, Austin Elementary looked like any other school. But for me, stepping through its doors meant navigating a map of active spiritual territory. When I tried to discuss what I was sensing with my parents, they waved it away. Since I was only in the first grade, they dismissed my concerns as the product of an overactive imagination, convinced I was merely frightening myself. This lack of belief forced me into a dual silence. I stopped speaking to avoid being labeled as succumbing to psychological instability, and I hid the truth from my younger sister to protect her from the dread that shadowed my own daily life. The entities were a constant presence, but facing them in complete isolation, without an adult to validate me, became the defining feature of my time at Austin. This school layout functioned as a map of spectral weight. My intuition pinpointed exactly where the spiritual energy reached its peak, gathering in specific rooms, regardless of who was physically present. The restrooms felt particularly crowded. Whether I was with peers or in solitude, I felt the scrutiny of someone standing just beyond the stall door, or occupying the empty cubicle right beside me. I harbored a deep-seated dread of catching a glimpse of a woman or child within the mirror's reflection, someone who shouldn't be there. I would finish my business with haste and depart without delay. When I traversed the corridors alone, I often felt the aura of a small child trailing closely behind me. Each time I turned to investigate, the hallway remained void of any physical presence. Occasionally, shadowy apparitions flickered at the periphery of my vision, seemingly mimicking my gait, only to vanish into thin air upon closer inspection. During these early years, the school's geography dictated my experience. I was a child navigating a landscape where certain rooms were simply not mine alone. As I grew, the sheer terror evolved into an innate capacity to discern the nature of the spirits around me. I began to recognize their spectral boundaries. I could sense whether a spirit was that of a man, woman, or child, and I felt their displeasure whenever the living encroached upon their chosen domains. This bustle of children and adults was my daily reality. I recall entering the volunteer chamber and immediately detecting a different presence. In the corner of that exact same room, I could perceive a solitary child spirit, quietly coexisting with the assembled mothers. I was tangibly aware of the weight of their lingering emotions. I sensed this specific spirit's growing agitation as our class crowded into the space, a territorialism I wanted to respect but could not articulate. I had transitioned from a frightened student to a silent empath. I possessed a deeper understanding of these entities than of the living, occasionally feeling like an unintentional spokesperson for their needs. The most profound spectral densities were concentrated in the library and the communal auditorium. This dual-purpose space was the center of the school's spiritual activity. During lunch, my focus would drift toward the stage. I sensed former students and adults quietly observing our assembly, finding solace and amusement in the shadows of the elevated platform. During rehearsals for school productions, my intuition would pinpoint the exact shadows in the wings where these entities preferred to remain concealed. While positioned upon the stage, I felt a spectral presence brush against me, as though they were merely traversing the stage as we performed. These entities appeared to be continuing their silent journey through our world, existing in the same physical space, but separated by a boundary only I seemed to perceive. Every day, I sat in class navigating two worlds, the mundane tasks of an elementary student and a hidden reality I dared not speak of. Keeping those lives separate meant harboring every shadow and cold spot within the solitude of my own mind. I remained steadfast in the conviction that my sanity was intact, but maintained silence to protect the peace of my family and myself. I survived my years at Austin Elementary not just as a student, but as the secret, intimate spokesperson for a population that the rest of Pecos refused to acknowledge.